Hi everyone, I'm Ananya Mehrotra from the Multimedia Department at the Daily Cal, and welcome to another edition of Takeout Tuesday, where I'll be talking to Ambri Pukhraj about cheese board and how the coronavirus pandemic has affected them. Ambri, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name is Ambri. As you said, I am a worker owner at the Cheese Board. I work primarily on the pizza side, and I have been there for about 6.5 years now.
So can you tell me a little bit about the initial scare about COVID-19 and what it was like back in March when you first realized that you're probably going to have to shut down?
Yeah. The last day we were open for service was Saturday, the 14th of March. And we had sort of been thinking about this. We were all hearing reports about COVID, but we weren't really sure at that point. And quite frankly, we were so busy all the time at work that no one really took the time to stop and gather all this information. So when that Sunday came around, a lot of us started reading more about it and realized this is quite serious. And we're such a large business. We have over 60 people, all age ranges, so many customers going in and out, that once we started to think seriously about it, we felt like we would really have to pivot and change our operations. And I think the next day, that Monday, is when the shelter in place orders came through as well. So it was sort of, the decision was made for us in a way. And instead of trying to change how we operate in that week or within that month, we decided to close and then sort of figure out how we would reopen. And we're very lucky in that we are a collective, and so we are able to make these decisions as a group. And we felt like we were comfortable enough, we were confident enough that we would survive uh, having to close for a couple of months. And so that's what we did. We did continue to have meetings. We continued to work on projects that were not related to production over Zoom. So we were all in touch. And through all those meetings and discussions, we were able to figure out a plan to reopen.
Yeah, and so as time went on, how did that affect your staff? Because I know that you did start to reopen a little bit, but I'm sure it was still scary and it was still
Yeah.
different coming to work. So what was that like?
Definitely. One thing that really helps us run as a business is just having a number of different committees. And I'm so grateful personally, and all of us are, that so many people stepped up to start tackling this. So this isn't directly related to the business, but we had a group of people who converted our store during the time that we were closed to sort of our personal grocery store. So we didn't want, we had members who lived with family members who they were afraid of exposing. So we were able to buy almost all the food that we needed at our store, which was great. So we would shop from farmers markets and then help ourselves. And then as that waned, because we were able to go out again, people started to form other committees, such as figuring out how production would change, how our staffing would change. And then we also have a health and sanitation committee that did really thorough research about what it would mean to open safely. And so, all these different committees were able to gather this tremendously helpful information that made us feel increasingly confident. But like you mentioned, we did reopen with a very skeletal staff in the beginning. For example, I'll speak for myself. I have a toddler who didn't have daycare access at the time, and my partner runs his own business, so he was working there, and I was the primary caregiver for a while. So I wasn't able to go back immediately, and there are so many people who had similar situations. So a group of people who were able to started us off in June, and then as our availability increased in the beginning of August, we opened with more flush staff and for more hours and with more products. And we're also continuing to add more products now too.
Yeah, and so I know that starting in August, you opened up even more, and now the students are back. They can come and buy some pizza. So what do your daily operations look like right now?
Good question. We are working in pods for one. So, we've got prep pods, morning pods, evening pods, because that's part of our safety plan, is to make sure that if there's an outbreak, the whole business doesn't have to suffer, that one pod can take care of it. So because of that, our hours are limited in terms of service. So right now we are open Tuesday through Sunday. The bakery is open from 9 to 4, and they sell baked goods, breads, some cheeses. They've got really cool selections of cheeses that they're selling right now. especially the adventure bags. And then they sell half-baked pizzas for the pizzeria. Um, that's what happens until 4 o'clock. And these are pizzas that are half baked and you can finish baking at home in your oven. And then in the evenings, Tuesday through Saturday from 5 to 8 is when we're serving our famous hot pizza that you can see behind me as well. For now, because slices require a lot more handling, we're only doing whole pies and half pies. And it's the same, cheese board way, get in line, order your pizza, except the line is clearly marked now with 6 feet distance between people. But yeah, that's the best way to come and get hot pizza. And some people are worried about getting a half or a whole pie, but come with people in your pod or save it for later. We welcome you.
Yeah, so it's great to hear that you're taking these precautions. So why is it so important for students to be supporting local businesses right now?
I think it's important to support local businesses all the time. Um, I think a lot of us are often caught between like the less expensive option, and that may be a big chain. But I think for a community to thrive, it's really helpful to have local businesses that are able to sustain people in your community. And at Cheeseboard, we've been lucky enough to be so supported by our community, for over 50 years at this point, 53 years, I think we're hitting this year. And while, I mentioned earlier that we're lucky that we haven't really, our business hasn't suffered financially as much as a lot of other businesses have, we welcome you back, and we are going in and making pizza, and it's just so satisfying for us as worker owners to serve our community as well. And I don't know, I think the Cheeseboard is just such a Berkeley institution that it just feels good to go there. I still go there to shop as a customer as well. But yeah, and this is well beyond us. There are so many other businesses that I think could use that support in a much more critical way as well. So just to keep these special businesses in our community, it's important to support them. And for many now more than ever, but always.
Yeah, definitely. It's so important to be supporting local businesses right now. So if you're watching this, please go out and support local businesses. And thank you, Ambri, for joining me today. This is so nice talking to you.
Of course, we hope you'll stop by soon.
Oh, well, thank you so much for watching.